Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the I Am CDB project. I, of course, am your host, CDB. You are not, and today we're going to do a shaving video with Stirling Sandpiper, which is a really nice smelling soap by Stirling. Very good quality. As you know, Rod and Mandy are great people to do business with. Going to use the vintage Gillette Fatboy adjustable, and we'll cover some of the same ground as the video yesterday where we talked about first and second razor choices for new wet shavers. There was a lot of response to that, at least I saw some comments on Facebook and so forth, and I wanted to sort of address some of those as well as mention something else while I'm getting ready to lather up. By the way, I'm going to be using the Envy Shave 8 Ball, which is a terrific razor, but first I wanted to mention social media. As some of you might know, some of the social media companies have taken to censoring folks. And I don't mean for threats of violence and things that should be censored, but I'm just talking about due to differences in point of view. So one of the things that I wanted to mention to you is there's a relatively new, it's not brand new, social media platform called Mindscom, M-I-N-D-S, Minds.com, and they are committed to liberties in terms of free speech. Now, I just signed up today because I've been hearing about it, and I'm all about freedom of speech, and they're more inclined to support your rights in that regard. So I encourage you to go to Minds.com, sign up, give it a look. It's a sort of competitor to Facebook and Twitter and all these things. At least give a platform that is committed to freedom of speech. I try, and again, I'm at I Am CDB there. So if you're looking for me, I'll post a link in the comments below, but I'll be at I Am CDB. Subscribe. I'll post the videos and so forth there. I'm still going to be on the other platforms until maybe someday they remove us all. But as someone who likes to speak up and share things that not everyone agrees with, I find some of the censorship in social media to be a little disturbing. So give Minds, M-I-N-D-S, a shot and look for me while you're there. Anyway, let's get on to some of the comments. Yesterday I did a video about first two razors that I recommend for new wet shavers. The first being an Edwin Jagger or Merkur 34C. You could have thrown in any fixed type razor, Game Changer, many great ones. As long as it's relatively mild, any of those would do. Some people suggested Rockwell 6S. I don't recommend that to be your first razor, and it's for the same reason I don't recommend a razor like this or the Progress to be your first. You're going to want to fiddle around with the plates and change it, and you do not need that in your first few months of wet shaving. You just don't. It takes time to learn how to shave properly, and it takes time for your face to adjust. Just as if you go from a cart to a electric razor, it takes some time for your face to adjust to that. Well, it takes just as much time from going from cart to wet shaving or electric to wet shaving. So get yourself a fixed one plate razor as number one. Master that, learn what your face will tolerate, get you a few good soaps and so forth. Now, as the number two choice, any adjustable would work. I recommend Merkur Progress or Parker variant because they're fairly economical. I don't know what the Rockwell 6S is at this point, but it's also a good choice. I think these, like Gillette Fatboy, Merkur Progress, a little bit easier for a new person because you can simply adjust it. So I think it's a little bit easier perhaps to deal with than a Rockwell 6S. The other Rockwell razor, I don't even know if they ever came out with it. I guess they did. The adjustable, I don't remember what it was called, kind of gave me some, by the way, if you're seeing things on my face, it's because I just got out from weed eating and I probably got grass all over me. But anyway, the Rockwell project that was in sort of beta phase forever, and eventually I pulled out. I was just like, goodness gracious, it was well over a year late, I want to say. That said, I'm sure they, I was proven wrong about Rockwell 6S because that was a good razor. And I give them credit, but the other one, I can't remember what they were going to call it, but it was an adjustable, somewhat like this, and it was taking forever, and a lot of people pulled out. I was one. I will say they were good enough to refund money. They don't have to do that, and so you have to give them credit for that. But I don't recommend Rockwell 6S as your first razor. You're going to be tempted to change plates. Trust me, you will, and that is not a good thing. Learn how to perform this style of shaving first. And again, you can go back to my old channel, iLeather.com, or look at some of the videos here about tutorials. Go look at Fatboys, go look at Mantic 59, many others that I'm not mentioning, but those are just the ones where to go to for how-tos, and find out, how to properly shave. Knocking over my aftershave there. Anyway, once you learn, then you follow up and get that second razor. That can be Rockwell 6S, Merca Progress. If you prefer mild, Gillette Fatboy or Slim. Even on 9, the Gillette Fatboy, in my opinion, is still fairly mild. I think I just nicked my ear right there. I could have. I wasn't paying attention. That can happen. Most of the time when I cut myself, it's crazy. I tend to nick my ear for some reason. And I may have. It does happen. You're holding the sharp blade next to your face. It's going to happen. But anyway, I saw a lot of good comments. Parker variant, like I said, Rockwell 6S. A lot of good suggestions. I don't recommend going whole hog aggressive early on, unless you just find that you need it and your beard is so coarse that it just needs super aggression. You would be sort of a special case, and that does happen sometimes, but be careful, take your time, and learn to use the razors you have before you start buying a bunch of stuff. And I'll comment again on brushes. Do not get fleeced by these vendors with these expensive brushes out of the gate. Learn what you like. Get yourself one of each, Badger, Boar, synthetic. Learn what you like. Then if you want to buy a few expensive pieces and you have the money to do so, go ahead. But do not get fleeced early on into thinking you need a uber exotic Badger brush, because you do not. It is flat out rubbish. You don't have to have that early on. Buy yourself any decent quality Badger that is, that's soft. I don't even know the various grades. There used to be fine and all the, you need a soft Badger. And again, go to some of the other YouTubers like Fatboy or some of the other, and they'll run down for you the various grades, best, finest, and all this sort of stuff. Get just about any silver tip grade Badger is going to be soft. Don't spend a ton of money early on. If you do, you will likely regret it. You may not at the time, because people, when they make an investment, they want to cling to it, and I've done it. I've been there. So learn from my mistakes. You don't need it all at the beginning. Get yourself a few things that you really enjoy, and try it for a while and see how it takes to you. And then after that, once you figure out what you really like, then you can just get after it. But I will say, over time, the desire for most people, not everybody, because some folks will do this for 10 years. They just buy everything in sight. Usually after 3, 4, 5 years, you will bore of buying every product, and your wallet will be crying for mercy. And then you will realize that, I didn't need all of that stuff. So my recommendation, get what you need, get what you really want, get the type of scents that you want, get a few, find out which brands you really like. Let's say, 10 brands, let's say, and sort of stick with those. You can run a flyer on something, just try something every now and then that's not. But give your business to the people that you respect and who seem to appreciate your business, instead of, throwing it everywhere on every single product that comes out from every new vendor. That's not to say you shouldn't try new vendors, because you should once in a while. But I consider that a flyer where you're just sort of trying. But figure out what you like, who you like. Support those folks is my advice. And you will figure it out. You will figure out if you follow these people who sort of represents, you know, the type of business that you want to do business with. And support those folks. That's my recommendation. Well, that was actually I believe that was my third pass. I don't even remember. I've lost track of time already. Let's see how we feel. We'll just touch up a little bit because we're bad, and we'll just touch up on the jaws a little bit. Felt a little bit. Sometimes that's the problem with these vintage, even on their high setting. They're pretty mild, and so I have to go over that part just a little bit around the jaw. But anyway, I invite you once again to join me on Minds.com. That's MINDS.com, and my profile will be below. It's at IMCDB. Again, just set that up today. I'll be posting these videos there and maybe other things. I think it's important for Facebook and Google and Twitter and all these companies who've taken to sort of choosing sides. I think it's important that they have some competition. And if we're supporting somebody that's supportive of free speech across the board, regardless of what you believe, so long as it's in accordance with the law, I'm for that. So check out Minds.com. I want to thank everybody for joining me once again. Until next time, I've been your host, CDP. You are not. God bless.